Goodbye, Joe, we got to go, me oh my oh. We got to go pull the pirogue down the bayou. My Yvonne is the sweetest one, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. And jambalaya and a crawfish pie, filet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my share of meals. Pick guitar and fill flute jar and be gale. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Now you have written material with this DVD that helps you understand the solo that I played after the singing part of Jambalaya, but just to help you out a little bit, just watch what happens when you're on the D formation here. That's an A chord, but a D formation, and the melody is kind of here. Goodbye, Joe, we gotta go, me oh my oh, and then you're on the A chord. We gotta go pull the pirogue down the bayou, and then you're back to the D. So if you make the chord changes at the right time, the melody's accessible there. And then you change to the A shape. Now I fudged the melody a little bit there and went up instead of down, which is always acceptable, but we got a lot of the melody in there just by playing the chord shapes, as I was talking about. Now we're going to try a similar thing with an entirely different type of tune. This is a Temptation song. It was just my imagination. You may know it from the Rolling Stones. They did a cover version of this, and it's almost pretty much a two-chord song also. This one's in the key of E. So if you do that A formation at the 7th and 9th frets, that's an E chord up there. Remember, we're relating it to this more complete A formation, and there's the root, the E right there. And unlike most two-chord songs that are just the one chord and the 5 chord, this one is the 1 chord and the 4 chord. The 4 chord of E is A, and when you play that D formation up here, you've got an A. That's where we played Jambalaya. That was our A. If you don't know what the 1, 4, and 5 and what these numbers mean, it might be helpful to take a second to explain that to you. Whatever key you're in, that's the 1 chord. If you're in the key of C, the second note in the C major scale is D, so D would be called the 2 chord. And the third note is E, so E would be called the 3 chord. It might be an E minor, an E 7th, an E 9th, whatever. But since it's the third note in the scale, they call it the 3 chord. So all those numbers just refer to the major scale of whatever key you're in. And it turns out that whatever key you're in, and almost whatever kind of music you're playing, the 1 chord and the 4 chord and the 5 chord are the most closely related chords. If you're in the key of E, for example, the A is the 4 and the B is the 5. And if you've ever played the blues, you know in the key of E, those are your 3 chords you need, an E and an A and maybe a B 7th. So 1, 4, and 5, there's thousands of songs just built on those 3 chords. And eventually it'll be helpful to think in those terms. All musicians think in terms of numbers like that. In fact, sometimes instead of calling out letter names, they call out numbers to each other. Now it goes to the 4, now the song goes to the 5. Ultimately, it's a better way to think about chord progressions. So in just my imagination, we're in the key of E, and we're going between this A formation for the 1 chord and this D formation for the 4 chord. And once again, I'll sing a little bit of the song and then play a solo that might suggest some of the melody, but part of it will just be improvisation. And remember, there's all those multitude of licks that you can play based on those 2 chords. And the sliding licks. You'll see all those and more, and here's a nice version in E of Just My Imagination.